Что ты думаешь по поводу того, что тебя сместили внезапно с первой строчки паунд по паунд?
Ну это маркетинг. Они делают это специально, чтобы разогреть этот бой. Но у людей уже есть интерес к этому. Значит, они делают правильно, и мы будем бороться за первое место в рейтинге.
Massive fight would be Ilia versus Islam too. Well, the other thing is too is that Islam moves up, and obviously if Islam won the title, you know, you immediately have a super fight with him and Ilia. So.
Dagestani champion Islam Makhachev is reportedly eyeing a high-profile showdown with Ilia Topuria following his upcoming fight against Jack Della Maddalena. Topuria himself has fueled speculation by referring to the potential matchup as a huge event. He recognized the magnitude of facing Makhachev and hinted that, based on Islam's performance in his next fight, either Makhachev could cut down to featherweight or Topuria could step up to lightweight to make the bout a reality.
We'll see how he does in the welterweight division. If he wins the title, I win the title in the lightweight division. Maybe I move up or he comes down to the lightweight division and we have the fight that everyone wants.
Additionally, Dana White has expressed similar views, hinting that if Islam Makhachev secures the title, a potential super fight could be in the works. He emphasized the scale of the matchup and noted that, given the star power and high stakes, the UFC would seriously explore making the fight a reality.
Massive fight would be Ilia versus Islam too. Well, the other thing is too is that Islam moves up, and obviously if Islam won the title, you know, you immediately have a super fight with him and Ilia. So
I mean, this is all talk.
Speculative.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
But I imagine that's a fight you guys would want to make at some point. I mean, just the magnitude
Sure.
of it.
I mean, I'd make that fight tomorrow.
Hearing Dana's remarks, Islam Makhachev has doubled down on his commitment, intensifying his training in preparation for Jack Della Maddalena. Determined to secure the victory and lock in the potential super fight, he's leaving no stone unturned in his camp. In response to the news, Ilia Topuria stated that if Islam Makhachev doesn't come out on top, he'd have no problem stepping in to face Jack Della Maddalena instead. Topuria believes that matchup would be just as compelling and thrilling, adding that he's open to taking on anyone who presents a legitimate challenge.
Jack is, like, he's a big fucking guy too, right?
That fight would be great also.
You versus Jack?
Yeah, I would love to fight him.
I saw Khabib said that he thinks that Jack is a harder fighter for Islam than you.
But he's gonna say that's the fight they have ahead. They're not gonna say no, we are fighting a easier opponent than Ilia. He has to say that. There's always respect.
Of course.
How you cannot respect like people who's fighting for their dreams and they work hard. But another thing is that when it comes to the competition, me against you, I'm always going to choose myself.
Adding to the conversation, Islam Makhachev remarked that he and Ilia Topuria are destined to clash in what could be billed as a battle for the pound-for-pound throne. However, he acknowledged that this kind of branding is mainly a promotional tool designed to build hype. Makhachev stressed that the UFC doesn't need to market it as a pound-for-pound fight to generate massive fan interest. It's the matchup itself that will draw eyes.
Что ты думаешь по поводу того, что тебя сместили внезапно с первой строчки паунд по паунд?
Ну это маркетинг. Они делают это специально, чтобы разогреть этот бой. Но у людей уже есть интерес к этому. Значит, они делают правильно, и мы будем бороться за первое место в рейтинге. Just one word. It's called best fighter in the world. That's it. I'm the pound for pound king right now. It's mean you can beat all your opponents, whatever you want.
Ilia Topuria, having recently overtaken Islam Makhachev to claim the top spot in the pound-for-pound rankings, received recognition from the Weasel, who explained that he understands the reasoning behind the shift. He pointed out that Ilia's consistent dominance and high-level performances fully justify his new ranking. However, the Weasel also noted that if Makhachev manages to defeat Jack Della Maddalena in convincing fashion, there's a strong possibility he could climb back to the #1 position in the pound-for-pound debate.
Islam Makhachev has been dethroned. Ilia Topuria is now officially the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, according to the UFC rankings. He rolls up 2 spots above Islam. Now Islam's #2, Merab is 3, Dricus is 4, and Pantoja is 5. Could he be above Dricus? Maybe, but I'm happy enough that he's at least in the top 5. No complaints there. Honestly, man, I can see Ilia being number 1. I can see it. I don't have too much of an argument one way or another, except for one thing. I guess it depends on how JDM versus Islam goes. If Islam beats JDM, then he's probably going to be number 1 after. Ilia's a 2-division champion. What does pound for pound mean? Skills that could translate to different weight classes. Pretty much if everybody was the same weight class, who is the best fighter? Moving to different weight classes is a key point in.
Additionally, the Weasel emphasized that Ilia Topuria has fully validated his pound-for-pound status by successfully carrying his skill set from featherweight to lightweight, proving that his dominance extends across weight classes. This versatility, he noted, reinforces Ilia's legitimacy at the top. In contrast, the Weasel pointed out that Islam Makhachev still has a major test ahead of him in Jack Della Maddalena, a challenge he must overcome to truly cement his place among the sport's elite.
Islam hasn't done that yet. Ilia has done that twice in his career, and now just won the lightweight title in the first round against Charles Oliveira, who Islam of course beat. There is that argument that Islam already beat Charles, and beat Charles when he was champion, but Ilia did it as a featherweight moving up to lightweight. Islam was always a lightweight. That's why it's different. In my opinion, Ilia is above Islam because of 2 things. Number 1, he moved up and won a second belt. And secondly, it's the way that Ilia is winning his fights. I think this whole debate between Ilia and Islam is confused by one main thing. People are comparing their wins as if they weren't in different weight classes. Like people are saying Islam and Ilia both beat Volk and they both beat Charles and Dustin's a better win than Max. That is true if they all did that in the same weight class, but they're a weight class apart. They didn't do it in the same division.
Adding to that, Michael Venom Page shared that he's been closely observing Ilia Topuria, not just his fighting style, but also his training habits and mental approach. He highlighted Topuria's unshakable confidence, noting that such a mindset is crucial when competing at the sport's highest level. According to Page, that kind of self-belief is often what separates champions from the rest.
Topuria is something special. As we've all seen, he is definitely something special. He's very unique. I've been watching and studying a lot of his training and how he's this mentality.
Yeah,
he's exceptional.
Ultra confident.
Ultra confident.
He was celebrating one day before.
Ultra confident, but you have to be that. You need that into this game.
However, he also acknowledged that Islam Makhachev is a special kind of fighter, naturally heavier and physically stronger than Ilia Topuria. So when all other factors are evenly matched, he believes you have to give the edge to the fighter with more size and power. And in this case, that was Islam.
Page gave the edge to Islam, citing his physicality as a potential game changer.
Islam is just, again, something special and the heavier guy, the naturally heavier guy. So I have to give it, when everything's even, you have to give it to the person that's probably going to bring more power.
Yeah, because I was watching an interview of Sarukian, and he was saying that if you watch Topuria's fight with Bryce Mitchell.
Yes, yeah.
The first round, Bryce Mitchell had him down in like a half guard position or something like that.
Yeah.
And so he said if Bryce Mitchell can do that, imagine what
exactly. And that's what Makhachev will do. Yeah. Obviously, Bryce Mitchell's very aggressive in that area.
Moreover, Dana White had high praise for Ilia Topuria, noting that everything Ilia has set his sights on, he's managed to accomplish. He emphasized that Topuria isn't just an elite-level fighter, but a rising superstar, someone who consistently delivers inside the octagon while also building a strong presence outside of it. According to Dana, Ilia's ability to back up his words with action is what truly sets him apart.
Do you think that he gives Islam a run for the money is pound for pound right now?
Yeah, it's interesting because, he did exactly what he said he's going to do. He is an absolute complete fighter. Stand up is beautiful, ground, grappling, everything. Yeah, this kid's a star. He's on a great 3-fight win streak for sure. All legends that he knocked out. I don't know. I don't know where he sits pound for pound punching power, but moving up a weight class like that and doing what you say you're going to do in the first round and the way he did it is very impressive.
Adding to that, the Weasel highlighted that Ilia Topuria rightfully deserves the #1 spot in the pound-for-pound rankings due to the high caliber of opponents he's defeated. He emphasized that the level of competition Ilia has faced and the notable names he's taken out further solidify his position at the top.
Ilia moving up to the next weight class and knocking out Charles can be argued to be better than Islam beating Charles in his own division, right? Because Ilia moved up, so that's why I could see Ilia being #1 above Islam. And of course, Islam beat Renato Moicano and he beat Thiago Moises and Bobby Green and Drew Dober and some other decent fighters like B-tier fighters, whereas Ilia beat Josh Emmett, Bryce Mitchell, and Yusuf Zalal. So the Armin win for Islam is actually one of the main selling points in Islam being #1 above Ilia, because all the other wins are comparable, right? Like you could compare the Charles wins, you can compare the Dustin versus Max wins and the Volk wins and all that stuff, right? Ilia beat Josh Emmett, which is better than Bobby Green.
Doubling down, the Weasel emphasized that he would rank Ilia Topuria higher because of the difficulty the significance of jumping weight classes and still managing to win a title. He pointed out that becoming a champion in 2 divisions speaks volumes about Ilia's skill set and adaptability, making his case for the #1 pound-for-pound spot even stronger.
I think it is a really good debate. If I were to pick who I would have #1, I would lean to Ilia because he moved up and won a second belt. I think that's the breaking point. And Islam has his opportunity to do that right now. He's going to be fighting JDM. And if he beats JDM, I think he's #1 pound for pound. I think it's fair enough, right? If Islam loses to JDM, then for sure he's not above Ilia. So I agree with Ilia, Islam, Merab. Dricus over Pantoja, I can see it. Just in the UFC, Pantoja beat Kai Kara-France twice, if we count the Ultimate Fighter, Kai Asakura, Steve Erceg, Brendan Royval twice, Brandon Moreno 3 times, twice if we don't include the Ultimate Fighter, and only the 1 Moreno win if we're just looking at the most recent reign that they have, right? Because he beat Moreno the 2nd time in 2018. And of course, that wasn't the same Moreno that he fought in the 3rd fight. 3rd fight Moreno was prime Moreno.